hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
No, not quite. Good Friday morning. I just heard half the audience go, oh, no, him again. Steve Moulton filling in for Scott Theisen here this Friday morning. And we're in the back corner booth with apologies to David Housel. The back corner booth at Bubby's. How about that? We are an hour away from that zone deal launching. So prepare yourself because that's going to go quickly.
It no doubt will.
Probably as quickly as Drew and I are going to eat breakfast here at Bubby's as well. I'm thinking French toast today.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I will vouch for it with sugar-free syrup because I need to do that.
Is the doc listening this morning?
Yeah, there you go. But and they do a great job here. They have Diet Dr. Pepper too, which is awesome. On tap.
I think that's a hint.
Yeah. I even brought my own refill, courtesy of Wanda Gilliland in the AHSAA. So appreciate them. They've hosted me at and will again today over at Wallace State Hanceville. So been making the trek over there to see hoops. And
why can't these places be closer?
Well, it's an hour though. I mean, it's not. It's actually a nice leisurely drive.
I've got Jacksonville State stuck in my head. And,
that's 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then,
all of 2 hours.
Well, and actually, Bill Harris Arena, which is where the Central Regional is now, is only in Birmingham, so it's an hour and a half.
Yeah,
so
the
only one far at Garrett Coliseum, I believe that's in Montgomery, so you got to drive 3.5 hours. So it's really three of them are definitely within driving distance and. To see some quality basketball.
Because when I think Northeast Regional, I think Alabama A&M. When I think Northwest Regional, I think Florence. I think Flowers Hall. But,
right.
But,
Wallace State's doing a great job as they always do.
No, it's a great facility.
And it's a great and I saw, some great games yesterday and, on Tuesday when they got cranked up. And, of course, as you know, I was on Wednesday, when they got cranked up, and some great games yesterday on Thursday. Because as I've said on the drive last night, or was that last night or this morning? I can't remember, but I did say the days aren't running together. But I was in Jacksonville on Tuesday for Huntsville, and they a workmanlike performance against Oak Mountain, and then a really nice, a good win for Grissom over a scrappy Chelsea team that came in hot. But Grissom distinguished that, and so Huntsville Grissom will have Chapter 4 coming up on Tuesday at 2:15 p.m.
You'll be able to hear it right here.
Yeah, we'll talk to both those coaches before that game, and we're really looking forward to it.
We might see one of them here in this facility.
Well, usually that's between 10 and 11, since I come here quite a bit myself. He's usually a regular with his wife, and we're talking about Jack Dawson, his lovely wife, Lori Hall Dawes. They usually are in here eating quite a bit at Bubby's. So, and Christian Swears and the Huntsville Crimson Panthers have also eat here as a team a few times. So there's outstanding menu here, outstanding steaks. And so please come check out Bubby's, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. They do a great job.
Shrimp and grits, I can vouch for that as well. Just this is a great way to start your morning. And, again, we're less than an hour away from the zone deal launching. Just head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. Click on the zone deal and scoop up $50 worth for just $25.
Another quick update, too, is my partner, Scott Theisen, is emceeing the state wrestling championships
I've seen him do that in the past. He'll walk around the mats. Yep. And that's intriguing to me.
He's done a great job with that, and he just gave me a quick update after day one. The Huntsville Crimson Panthers are trying to do the double. They've already won the dual state championships, which they did last year, but the team won. They have not won in a while, and they were the favorites going into 7A to try to pull both of them off. And they are up by 24 points right now after day one over Thompson. So Huntsville set a record for the number of wrestlers that they qualified for the state championships. And again, after day one, Scott Theisen with the update, a 24-point lead for the Huntsville Crimson Panthers over the Thompson Warriors. So sorry, Thompson, this ain't football.
Quickly, just to review what happened yesterday on the basketball side of things. let's maybe just get you caught up on what's going on, because this is going to spill over to next week as well. Hoover and Thompson will face off in 7A boys. That'll be next Tuesday in the regional finals. 7A girls will feature Hoover and Bob Jones. That'll be next Tuesday
What
as
a game
well.
that could be.
6A boys, Coleman and Buckhorn. I'm telling you, next Tuesday morning at 10:45, and you'll be able to hear it right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I mean, Coleman wins in overtime yesterday over Muscle Shoals,
And
56
we had
to
both
51.
coaches on. We had Neil Barker and Stu Student. I knew that would be a great game because it was just a contrast in styles, because Muscle Shoals is big and physical and they like to slow things down, and Neil Barker's such a great coach. He coached Mark Sears for 4 years. People would sometimes forget that because Mark spent his eighth grade through junior year at Muscle Shoals before transferring to Hargrave Military Academy, Ohio, and now the SEC Player of the Year, in my opinion. Who cares about Dalton Connect? And especially if Alabama can beat the Vomits the second time and split with them, and he
I
goes for
imagine
like
there's
25.
a couple of Tennessee fans that care about
I'm
it.
sure they do. Great, good for them. I hate them. So, I mean,
How do you really feel?
Oh, yeah.
Drew
I
DeArmond?
can definitely say that about Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't hide it.
If only we knew how John Abraham felt about the Auburn Tigers. Anyway.
But no, I mean, I have great respect for what Bruce Pearl's doing. I mean, I think Auburn, I was asked this yesterday, who's going to win the SEC? I think Auburn's got the best shot because they're just so tough at home.
And schedule-wise as well.
I don't think anybody's touching them in Neville Arena, man.
No,
I think they're going to annihilate
And they've got Kentucky
everybody
tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to whip Kentucky, and I don't see them lose. And then, they got a tricky road game at Tennessee.
I do.
That's going to be tough.
That's probably the biggest.
But I mean, I think Bruce has put his team in great position, and he's done a great job with them. And certainly, we're proud for Denver Jones and Chaney Johnson as well. And so. I think they've got a great shot at winning. I think Alabama's got a solid chance.
Saw
they got
Denver
to go 5-2.
run the point a couple of possessions.
Well, and Denver's settled in as a good defender too. I mean, he's with this year's team. They're an inside-oriented bunch, and he's one of the really good complementary pieces. And I'm anxious to see how much better he and Chaney get next year, because you've seen Sears take a huge jump for Alabama.
Yeah.
You can see the same thing for those two dudes at Auburn. So they're doing really well. I think Tennessee's the best team when they're locked in, but Tennessee's got a tough schedule too, because they got to play Alabama and Auburn.
Their last three games.
And their last three are just brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, South Carolina again, because they got to try to get revenge on the road there.
Yeah.
I mean, and Kentucky at home in Thompson Bowling Arena. So, I mean, I think Tennessee, I thought most of the year they were the best team, but I'm not sure they will be by the end this time because of the way the schedule kind of lands. So we'll see. But I will say, I think the three best teams now that all the dust is settling is Alabama, Auburn, and Tennessee.
I mean,
South
how about
Kakalakis
that,
fourth, and then I would say Kentucky 5. And then they've got 9 teams that's got a chance to get into the tournament. But I think right now with Ole Miss and Mississippi State, it's very perilous.
Yeah.
And I'm loving Ernest T. Bass.
Well, I bet you are. If you'd like to be part of our program this morning, you can do so on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline at 256-576-4977. And Drew, I don't know what kind of expectations you had for this Alabama team, but the statement you just uttered, the top 3 teams, I did not expect to see Bama in that top 3 conversation. I thought they'd be upper tier, but not top 3.
Well, I thought they'd definitely be top 5. I didn't know how the pieces would fit. And then, like I said yesterday, and this is more Drew-and-Airy stuff, but for the rest of this year, for this Alabama team, from what we saw the last time they took the floor against LSU, you need a can of Pringles and not the crumbs. So if you get the can of Pringles, then Alabama's got a chance to win the SEC.
Yep.
If you get the crumbs, then you might want to,
Then Mark Sears needs to go off on another level.
Or you might need bourbon and Coke, and not just a
or
Coke.
Rylan Griffin be shooting 80% from beyond the arc.
But they just need some interior presence. They have plenty of guards. They've got to have some sort of interior presence, rim protection, finishing. And so Nick Pringle, with his athleticism and his build, is very important because Muhammad Wagi, you never know what you're going to get because of his foot situation, his lower leg.
Yeah.
And he's also been inconsistent with his play. And then, Muhammad Diobate is undersized, and he's a freshman, and he's giving you some good stuff, but not every game. Jaron Stevenson, same thing. Nick Pringle is a guy that was on the team a year ago, should be a veteran, has been in college 4 years because he went to Wofford, then he went to JUCO, and now this is his second year at Alabama. I mean, he has NBA athleticism, so you need him to play that way.
Just want to quickly put a bow tie again on some matchups in high school basketball. Buckhorn a winner 61-51, and they were down by 18. Bailey Lowry was on the play-by-play call yesterday. Bailey is actually producing this very program. Bailey, I'm going to let you hop on the mic here. Give me your thoughts on the 61-51 win, sir. Good morning.
Hey, for one, just some of the best basketball I've seen this Buckhorn squad play all year, and an absolute testament to that group's tenacity, just powering through. I mean, because you were right, they were down at 18 at one point, and coming into the second half, it's like you could see like the mentality had just shifted, and they went absolutely off against Coleman. Like they had a new game plan going in, and it was incredible to call and incredible to watch.
Well, it was very loud as well there at Wallace State, but what a comeback there. And, of course, you'll be able to hear Buckhorn again next Tuesday morning. We'll try to figure out what we're going to do with the Morning Blitz, but we'll
might have to do it live from Wallace State.
You guys up for that?
Hey, I'd be up for it.
And then Chad, we're already telling you, brother, you probably have to produce in the morning. Have to wear the hat one more time. Either you or Brian can flip for it, brother.
We'll figure it out. Figure it out. Because that afternoon is Huntsville and Grissom, and myself and Scott Theisen will be doing that game.
In some hotel.
Yeah, zooming in. Again, courtesy of Chad Gwathney.
Courtesy of the brilliant Chad Gwathney and Huntsville Crimson Panther basketball. Even though Jack Doss wants to put a Grissom hat on my head.
5A boys action is going to tip it up today. Madison Academy going to take on Fairfield. That's a 2-loss Fairfield team.
It's number 1 versus number 6. And, Coach Tom Berryman's going to be very kind to join us this morning at 8 o'clock. His team's going to shoot around from 8:30 to 9:30 and get ready to roll with this. And I was texting with Coach, and we had him on last week as well to kind of preview their game against Carver Birmingham. I went over there and watched that game on Saturday, and it got close, got a little hairy. It was a 7-point game at the start of the fourth quarter, and they shot for a chance to get it to within 4, no good. And then Madison Academy just dismantled them going forward, the depth, and having Cam Bell back at point guard. And then Khalil Green had a career game, the transfer from Sparkman. His father, Ray Sean, is a good friend of mine who played for Jack Doss at Butler, and Khalil went for 31 and just went off and
31
and played extremely good basketball. And he's a key. He's a really good defender, gets out in the open floor, but he was making threes as well. He showed his entire repertoire against Carver Birmingham, and they put him away and won 73-50. And now they get Fairfield, which is Maurice Ford. Anybody that knows high school basketball in this state, Mo, he got Parker to the state championship game a couple of times. One time they had a sellout in the finals against John Carroll where they lost, and he had Walter Sharp. He went to play for Stansfield over at Mississippi State for a short period of time for Rick Stansberry. And then he went to Johnson. He was here before they were made Jemison, and went to a state championship game and lost 27-25 to Bubba Webster's and Sieb in the state championship game in 4A. It was an all Madison County final, which is really cool. And they lost by 2. And then he got his state title at Fairfield in 2020. So Maurice has had a lot of good basketball teams, and they're really good. But so is Madison Academy. Madison Academy's 25-6. They're very, very athletic. They've got a young sophomore who's a really good player. And so I think this is going to be a very intriguing game with Coach Tom Berryman, who does a great job with his preparation. He has a really good coaching staff. Lawson Pippen's dad, Lawrence, who I've known for a long time, He's, of course, a former player for Ronnie Stapler at Grissom and a really good basketball mind. He's on that staff. And I feel so old because I've known him since he was in 7th grade. But I got to reconnect with Josh Langford the other day because he's now on that coaching staff. He's back home with Madison Academy after becoming a team captain under one of my favorite people on the planet, Tom Izzo. So Josh Langford being back is just it's tremendous for them. And they've got a good coaching staff over there. And year 2 for Tom Berryman has taken a huge jump. I mean, they're healthier in his style of play, and he's doing a great job. And it's very, very tough when you're trying to fill the shoes of a 5-time state champion Hall of Fame coach like Andy Blackston, but he's certainly doing a great job right now.
Congratulations to the Scottsboro Wildcats. Both the boys and girls move on as they will move on to the regional championships. Both of those games, by the way, are next Wednesday. Scottsboro girls will be taking on Southside. Again, that's next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Wake up early, get some bubbies in you. And then the boys will be taking on Gunnersville
in a rematch.
10:45. Thank you. That's exactly where I was about to go. And I was about to put up the 4 fingers as well.
Give the Ric Flair woo because it's 4.
Yeah.
Because and these have been classic games. The last one being a 61-60 game, I believe, at Gunnersville.
Oh, that's right.
That Scottsboro won. So and Scottsboro under Jason Bell has done a great job. They lost Tyson Sexton, who's I got a chance to talk to Anthony Camara yesterday he was over at Wallace scouting.
He's the Montevallo head coach.
Montevallo head coach, and it's so crazy. 2 of his best young players are on both sides. He's got Brandon Fussell and Tyson Sexton.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, you got 2 really good pieces. Now, I was selling Josh Bowman hard, telling him, Bowman has really picked it up in the last 6-7 games.
There's a place right around the corner.
I know Coach Shulman would like to kill me, but I'm just trying to create interest for our local student athletes. I think. Don't
worry, Coach. I'm about to hit him upside the
head. Well, and Coach Shulman is spending a lot of time on J.D. Gossett, and I would too.
Yeah.
Because
you think,
as I told Coach Camara, I mean, Riggs is different. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I've never been around anybody like him. And that's why he earned the nickname from Lethal Weapon.
Yep.
I mean, J.D. Gossett himself, just improving by leaps and bounds.
So that is what is on tap. And then also coming up later on the program, we will talk a little baseball. And no, not spring training, but welcome to opening day of college baseball. And in case you haven't been paying attention, the SEC, this just in, is the top conference yet again in college baseball. We'll dive into a little bit of what to expect out of how many teams ended up in the preseason poll. I want to say it was 8. Yes, 8 teams in the preseason D1 baseball poll, the top team being Florida, but nonetheless we'll dive a little bit into what to expect on the diamond as well. We're just getting things started here at Bubby's. Feel free to give us a call at 256-576-4977. Let's go ahead and take our first time out, Bailey, and we'll be right back here on this Friday morning edition of Talkin Ball.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They still may be working Governors in 14th. That one reported as a no injury. They've moved that one on Greenbrier Parkway north of 565 off into a parking lot. That one ended up being a no injury, no entrapment. And they've been working a structure fire at a warehouse on Jordan Lane near Maston Lake. That one's been affecting some northbound traffic. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Some people just know bundling with Allstate means big savings. Just like they know the right ingredient means big flavor. They know honey on pizza is where it's at. And olive oil on ice cream is the cherry on top. And they know when you bundle home and auto with Allstate, you can save up to 25%.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
Don't let your back or neck pain get in the way. Get back to doing the things you love with the spine and neuro team from Huntsville Hospital. As the most experienced in the area, we have been improving lives in North Alabama for more than 50 years. Whether your favorite fishing hole is on Wilson Lake in the Shoals, Flint Creek, or Lake Gunnersville, Spine and Neuro is nearby to get you back to your best. Visit us online at spineandneuro.com to learn more.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Good Friday morning to you. Welcome in to Talkin Ball. I am not Scott Theisen. Steve Moulton filling in for Scott Theisen, who's on assignment. And for those of you heading to the VBC, you'll know what assignment he's on, because he will be walking the floor there at the VBC for the state wrestling tournament there at the VBC. So still working, man about town, Scott Theisen. 256-576-4977, the telephone number. And coming up tomorrow, you'll have a lot of the state of Alabama on notice right in front of you, as game day is down at Auburn, getting ready for Auburn in Kentucky. And then they'll hand things over because Bama gets another 11 a.m. tip tomorrow as well, as they take on the Aggies. And this game really intrigues me, Drew, because the Aggies, boy, it feels like every time they get momentum, they just stub their toe and have a bad loss, and they're coming off of a bad loss.
Well, what we talked about this with Blake Lovell at Southeastern 14. They play their way into the field, and then all of a sudden they play their way back onto the bubble where they got to play with desperation. And so I know they're going to come in angry, and they're the only team to have a winning record against Nate Oates. They're 3-1 against him. But Nate got off the schneid last year in the SEC Tournament Championship game with a thumping of A&M. They need to thump A&M again to stay at the top of the SEC standings. But they've got Boots Radford. They've got, Wade Taylor, good guards. So Alabama's going to have to outplay them. And then they've got two guys, as I said yesterday, Anderson Garcia and then Henry Coleman, the 15th, or however old he is now. But he's their power forward, so they've got some physicality along their front line. And, Buzz, his teams are physical. They're a difficult preparation. And so I'm sure they'll be ready to go at 11 a.m. Alabama better be. Now, Alabama should be fresh. They've had a week off. But this will be an interesting game, and it'll be a big one for Auburn as well. I mean, they're already camping out at Neville Arena. It should be nuts. And I think the last 6, Calipari's 1-5 against Auburn, so Auburn's had his number. And so it's a great opportunity for Alabama and Auburn to both get wins and stay at the top of the SEC.
Lenardi right now has the Big 12 with 9 teams on his bracket, and the SEC with 9 teams. He has 9 SEC teams. I mean, maybe I'm just thinking the older school bracket and not this bigger bracket. I don't see 9 bracket-worthy teams out of the SEC. Me personally, I see around 7.
I think it'll be 6 or 7 in the end. I think a couple are going to fall by the wayside. The most perilous are the 2 Mississippi schools and then Texas A&M. They may be fighting for their lives. I think the other 6 are in really good, strong shape. No doubt about that. And we've kind of talked about those squads already. But I think you've got 6 that are in really, really good shape, with Florida being 1-2 that can really score.
Yes. That's a tournament team.
Yeah, they look like a tournament team. They've got tournament wins, and they've got great opportunities because they play Alabama twice, so that's going to help their schedule strength if they can get a split there at the worst for Florida. That would be good.
He has Kentucky as a 6 seed, Bama as a 3 seed, Mississippi State as a 9 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Just taking a look at this, Tennessee a 2 seed, Auburn a 3 seed. So I mean, Ole Miss, one of the last ones in right now. They'd be in a play-in game at the moment, and I think that's fair as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And so we'll see, but it's going to be a great, crowd out in Tuscaloosa, I expect. Even though it's on an early tip, they're honoring the Elite Eight team of 2004. Mark Gottfried will be back, Kennedy Winston, Chuck Davis, all those guys, Emmett Thomas that played on that team. And I don't know about Antoine Petway, though, because I didn't check Kennesaw State's schedule. I'd love to see him back in there. Since he would have been there automatically, but for so long worked at Alabama. But, that team was special to a lot of folks. They went on a great run. They upset Stanford, came back from a late deficit. They had Ernest Shelton. Don't forget him, the sharpshooter from Memphis.
That's right.
So they were a scrappy bunch, and they're going to be honored. And they've also, for that weekend, and this is courtesy of Tide Hoops History and Michael Southern, who does a great job taking a look back at Alabama basketball. And there's some pictures, but they have a new, at the Bryant Museum, a new display taking it to look at the rich history of Alabama basketball, taking it all the way back to the eras of C.M. Newton and and really it's every coach that's won 200-plus games at Alabama. So they've had some great coaches. They have one of Wimp's plaid jackets over there. And of course they're honoring Mark Gottfried, because he did win a 2002 SEC regular season championship, along with the only Elite Eight in Alabama history. Won over 200 games himself. Nate Oates has done amazing things in his first 4+ years at Alabama. So all those guys, being honored as coaches in that display that you can go see at the Bryant Museum.
That tournament run in particular, I remember the UConn game that they got bounced, but the win over Syracuse, right before.
Oh, I remember being super motivated because love Jay Billis, but Jay Billis was saying Alabama didn't have much of a shot against Syracuse. And Alabama whipped Syracuse ass all over the floor. And I kind of figured they would, because Alabama was a good shooting team. You're playing a zone, you move the ball, you do things properly. And Chuck Davis, people have to understand, if he got hurt the next year and was turning into maybe the best player in the SEC, he really blossomed in that NCAA tournament as an inside-outside guy. That he had a kind of a thin build, but he was strong and long. And I know one of my favorite people, the late great Rick Majerus, fell in love with him as far as the way he could play, and he just really was a matchup problem. And of course ended up on the front of Sports Illustrated. And don't forget that year as well, Mike Anderson and UAB upset Kentucky.
That's right.
And they went to the Sweet 16 as well. It was a great time in the state of Alabama then.
Trouble in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, darn.
Richard is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline as we're live here from Bubby's. Good morning, Richard.
Morning. Actually, Drew just stole my thunder there. That's what I was going to call and talk about, the grade 8 team coming back. And I didn't think Coach Petway will be there because they play tonight. So there's a good chance, Coach Petway, Antoine Petway will even be back tomorrow.
I like it.
So one thing
glad to hear that, man.
On the SEC tournament, I saw where the Big Ten and the ACC are excluding teams next year. And I was just wondering if you guys have heard anything about the SEC at all.
No, I have not.
Yeah,
where did you read this story?
I think they both announced it yesterday. They're excluding three. I think it was kind of crazy. One is going to have 15 teams in. I can't remember if that's the ACC or the Big Ten, which you would think it would be an even number, but I think both of them are excluding 3 teams in their tournaments next year. And I was just wondering, you think about it, with the SEC, you would have to play, I guess 3 games on Wednesday, where usually you play the 2, the kind of the play-in game. Your bottom
Yeah.
4 teams play on Wednesday night out, but you're adding 2 more teams out. And
I'll have to look into that, Richard. I have not read that.
I have not either, honestly.
Yeah, I just saw it yesterday. I mean, I saw
Okay.
it yesterday where they're excluding teams, and but I was just wondering about the SEC because I mean, there's always ways to make it work, and I guess I know the Big East, used to start like Monday or Tuesday, even back when they ended up before they kind of Syracuse and everybody pulled out because I actually worked at in New York for a while, and I went to one of the early rounds up and watched Louisville play with Patino when I was up there, working. I went to like a Tuesday.
Hope you didn't
game.
swing by the team hotel.
No, I did not up there. So, but did get to go see the kind of early rounds where the tickets weren't so expensive.
Good, I'm glad.
No, I'm just wondering if you guys had heard anything about the SEC or what they were going to do. Because one thing about these tournaments in the past, almost everybody could play their way into the NCAA tournament. I think, except maybe the Ivy League. I don't know if they have a tournament, but everybody else, you had a chance to play your way in. No matter what your record was, if you won the tournament, your conference tournament. But that.
Well, I mean, on a smaller level, the Gulf South Conference tournament, you have to. Not every team gets a chance to be in the Gulf South Conference tournament.
To qualify for it.
You have to be in the top 8. So you have to earn your way in.
SEC baseball. I mean.
Yeah.
Out, but like I said, it's just kind of wondering about the SEC because I'm sure ways to work around it, but it does get to be kind of unmanageable at a certain point. And people, to these bad teams, you're not going to, people aren't going to buy tickets probably, and then nobody will be there. But I'll let you guys do some research on that. But like I said, I haven't heard anything on the SEC at all. But like I said, I know those other 2 are excluding teams next year.
I'll look into that a little bit.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you for the homework, Richard.
Hope to see you tomorrow down there.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow on Saturday, man. I'm definitely planning on trying to make it and even cover the baseball game. So it's going to be a long day in Tuscaloosa because, as you know, Steve, we had Rob Vaughn. Yeah.
Bring your jacket then on the baseball, I guess.
Yeah, well, we're in the press box, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drew DeArmond life right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I mean, and we had Coach Rob Vaughn on the show yesterday. Really good conversation. It was our first time speaking with him, and he's excited about the new squad. You better have a lineup card. I mean, there's a lot of new pieces. Matt Gasseti's the only one of the starting 9 returning from a year ago, and 10, even if you want to say DH, because a lot of those, all those guys either turned pro or without eligibility and moved on, like Drew Williamson, who had already played 5 years. So, and Caden Rose, our good friend, turned pro. So with the Red Sox, so there's just a lot of new pieces. They have some new arms as well. Even though Ben Hess will be the Friday night guy, be pitching today at 4:00. He of course, but he missed half the season last year with an injury as well. So he's back. But it's just a new squad, a new coaching staff, and it's a lot of excitement around Alabama baseball.
Hey, congratulations to UNA basketball as they were winners last night over Lipscomb, 75-70.
4 in a row,
final
I think.
Score. Yeah, that's right. 4 in a row indeed. I'm sorry. They just bounced back. They had lost one, but
I
they
think
have
4
won.
at home.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
believe.
So UNA, there is a log jam in the ASUN standings, led by Eastern Kentucky at 9-2, followed by Stetson at 8-3. But then Lipscomb, North Florida, Austin Peay, and UNA are all at 7-5.
Yeah, and Lipscomb's got a lot of freshmen. I mean, I talked to Lenny Acuff earlier this year. I mean, I think he's playing 4 and 5 freshmen extensively, so he's got a really young team. But he's excited about them, and he could add another piece of. And sorry, Coach Shulman, I'm banned, so I can talk about this. But I mean,
we need to talk about this during the break because we need to head off to a break. You're welcome, Coach. Well, let's halt that conversation right there as we're live here at Bubby's. Phone lines open to you at 256-576-4977. A good Friday morning to you, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to build into the Tennessee Valley. The best chance for that probably going to come Friday evening and then into the overnight through the first half of the day on Saturday. Temperature's still going to be warm on Friday afternoon, highs climbing into the mid-60s. We are going to be cold Friday night, early Saturday morning. We're dropping down into the low and mid-30s. It is going to be a chilly Saturday afternoon across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures only climbing into the lower 40s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
They should be about ready to wrap up on that accident at Governor's and 14th. That one came in as a no injury. And they've been working a structure fire at a warehouse on Jordan Lane near Maston Lake. That one's had one of the northbound lanes closed down. Do you know who to call when you need a heart doctor? You could write this name down now so you have it in the future. Dr. Randall Burns is at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace, where they have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. If your home needs updating or you have some projects that you just haven't gotten to, Eagle can help. They install shower doors, mirrors, shelving, blinds, bath hardware, and lots more. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental also specializes in day and weekend rentals to homeowners? The weekend rentals is by far the best deal that they offer. If you pick up after 2 on a Friday or anytime Saturday morning, it's not due in until Monday morning before 8 a.m. for a one-day charge. For a small fee, Valley can even haul anything they carry. Valley has extremely experienced and knowledgeable staff that can help you decide what size machine you need or what type of machine you need to get your job done like a pro. They have all the big items that the contractors need for their jobs, but they also carry the small tools that can help you with your DIY project. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and ask for the owner. That's if you could even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's Talkin Ball here on a Friday morning, live from Bubby's. We are 20 minutes away from our latest zone deal launching. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. Click on the zone deal. It is going to go quickly, so plan accordingly here this Friday morning. 256-576-4977 is the telephone number if you'd like to participate. He's Drew DeArmond. I'm Steve Moulton, and coming up in hour number 2, we'll talk some Madison Academy basketball as they're in action today, as we talked about already. Tom Berryman going to join us. And coming up tomorrow, we've got a lot of basketball coverage for you here on the Zone, as we'll start early with a 10 o'clock pregame. I wonder if Chris Stewart can get everything prepared that early. Maybe Tom Stipe will help him. There's no doubt he will. As Bama gets ready to take on Texas A&M. And then I'll be over in Carrollton, Georgia, as it's a big game for the UAH Chargers, as they are on the road at a top 10 team in the nation, and that is West Georgia. And this is a rematch of an overtime win for UAH back in December. So that is by far, at least resume-wise, the best win of the season for the Chargers. We'll see how they follow that up tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.
And they've been a really good road team. They've ever since, going all the way back through the Winnie Acuff days. But John Schulman, since he, has ably filled the shoes of the winningest coach in Gulf South Conference history and continued racking up Gulf South Conference regular season and tournament titles, they've been really good on the road. So this is going to be a test. This is like an NCAA tournament game, man, and they've had a chance to a few extra days to prepare. So I'm sure they're going to be ready to roll and check the oil, so to speak, of West Georgia.
Jeremy is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm good, guys. This is my favorite week of the year. We got my birthday, then the next day is Valentine's Day, and pitchers and catchers report.
How about that?
Excited.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hope you had a happy birthday and a great Valentine's Day, dude.
Both of them become a little bit more special when you got that little baby.
I bet. Yeah, I bet.
I mean, that makes it. I remember just looking at my birthdays going, it's just another day. And now you get there and then it's like, hey, I know she didn't go buy me a card at 3 months old, but when she's sitting there with a birthday card in her hand, it's awesome.
I bet.
Well, I got a question for you. I know that it's a little bit off subject, and baseball is a little bit down the ways, but I want to talk a little about Alabama baseball.
Okay.
How do y'all think? How are we looking this year? I mean, I know with all the things that we went through last year,
it'd be nice to have a coach go the entire season, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it seemed like they caught fire after they made that change. I mean, it seemed like they actually came together and played great baseball. So, is any of that momentum carrying over coming back into this year?
Well, I mean, I think so. I think they made a really good change and bringing in Rob Vaughn, who D1 Baseball said was the best hire of the cycle last year, come from Maryland. He'd built the best program in the Big Ten, which is not easy to do, and did it, with going up against schools like Michigan and some others that have more resources and have been to Omaha. But certainly Maryland, he never got Maryland to Omaha, but he made them very, very relevant in college
He still got
baseball.
Coach Jackson there as well.
And and that was the big thing. They made J.J. Jackson, the longtime pitching coach, Jason Jackson, J.J. the associate head coach and pitching coach. He's continuing to run that part of the ball club, and he had interest from other SEC schools and some Group of 5 programs to be a head coach and SEC schools to be pitching coach, but they were able to retain him, and that was a very important piece for Rob Vaughn to come over to Alabama, and because it helped retain a lot of the roster. They had brought in a very strong recruiting class, and of course Jason had a big part of that, Coach Jackson had, in bringing them in, and they were able to go into the portal and get some very interesting pieces, and one of those pieces that was retained was Ben Hess, a kid from from the Midwest who has it was committed, I believe, to Indiana. He's from Illinois, but they were able to flip him to Alabama. He's a power arm. He'll be going into his junior year, but he's shown fits of brilliance, but he was hurt for the majority of last year, which really hampered Alabama. He can throw in the high 90s and with a 3 and 4 pitch mix, and so he will start today. He has a chance with a big year to be a first-round draft pick. That's the kind of arm talent he has, and so we'll see. But they call him Heater for a reason. And I mean, and at times when he early in his Alabama career as a freshman, he had some command issues, but he was starting to solve those. It looked like last year, but then he had the injury. So hopefully he's had a complete recovery, and I know he's been throwing the ball well here in preseason practice, and he's someone to watch. And then Matt Gassetti. Jeremy's the only regular back as far as behind the plate, the Florida transfer. He had a good year last year. They lost everybody else either to the draft or they're out of eligibility, but they've got Justin LeBron, a young shortstop from Miami to watch, a freshman. They've got Gage Miller, a really good junior college hitter, and then a holdover who was from Lebanon, Tennessee, who was really ballyhooed 2 years ago, but has not played much his first 2 years, but has been unreal. Like in their scrimmage a couple weeks ago, he unloaded 2 bombs as Camden Hayslip. So watch Camden Hayslip. I think they're going to have a good lineup. I think they're flying under the radar. They got T.J. McCants, a transfer from Ole Miss, to play center field.
Well,
so I think they're going to be a pretty good ball club.
So, and just from a depth perspective, just from the conference, D1Baseball.com right now has projected NCAA tournament teams before, of course, it's opening day today in college baseball. D1 Baseball is projecting 10 SEC teams to be tournament worthy. So, and no other conference is sniffing double digits.
Of course.
So
not.
it's, in fact, 4 conferences are projected to have no more than 2 teams. So, I mean, they're the depth in the SEC, and I say that to just kind of, if there is kind of a bump in the schedule, it's because of the depth of the SEC.
Because it just means more.
Well, let's tell you how much it means. Mississippi State 2 years ago or 3 years ago now wins the national
and they
championship.
don't even,
In the last 2 years, they haven't gone to Hoover.
It's crazy.
So,
That's crazy.
And then
to
Ole
me.
Miss wins the national championship. Then last year, they don't go to the postseason. So the SEC is brutal.
I got a question for you then about Hoover. Is the rumor? I know some fellas down in Birmingham, and they're there every year in Hoover, and they were talking about that it might not, that as soon as the contract's up with Hoover, that it might not be going back. That they may be looking for somewhere else to go.
The quieter that gets, the more real that gets, in my opinion.
I think it'd be stupid.
Where
I think it's a perfect location.
If it doesn't?
I don't have the first clue on that one.
I know of a great spot if they want to move from Hoover.
Well,
That would be
fantastic. But I think they're always shopping around certain venues for certain products, be it basketball in Nashville or football in Atlanta. And for so many years, it's always been baseball in Hoover. But the quieter that story is getting, the more real it's sounding that they may move that baseball tournament.
Well, I'll just say, and I love what they're doing over there with the Toyota Field, but the way that's set up at Hoover, all the parking that they have, the complex, and, the SEC experience that they've built. Because, again, the Hoover Met, you have to understand, was basically they abandoned it and built a new ballpark in downtown Birmingham. So this ballpark is not used except for the SEC tournament, and to me, they've been able to pour money into it, and it's still a great facility, and it's a perfect one for the Southeastern Conference. So to me, in certain situations like Nashville for the SEC basketball tournament, Atlanta for football, and Hoover for baseball, don't screw it up. Just leave it where it be, and you'll continue to rule the world and rule the roost of college baseball.
Jeremy, appreciate the phone call. We've got to shuffle off to our last break. Brandon, hang on with us. We'll get to you on the other side. We're live here at Bubby's, getting ready for the zone deal to launch at the top of the hour. 256-576 is our telephone number. We'll talk some Madison Academy and UAH Charger basketball in hour number 2.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We should be clear of accidents now. I haven't heard of anything new. Working a structure fire on Jordan Lane near Maston Lake. That one's been affecting northbound traffic. And they've closed down the Marshall Space Flight Center this morning because of a sewage line problem. They're encouraging telework if you can there. You get 2 pieces of hand-breaded, juicy, tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff, and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
March Madness begins in the Rocket City as the Conference USA Men's and Women's Basketball Championships come to the Von Braun Center March 12th through the 16th as 9 teams look to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Lock in your seat for all the tournament action now and get the best seats available to be right on top of the action. And thanks to our friends at Dave & Buster's and Main Event, we have power passes available and 4-pack single session tickets available now that include $60 in savings. For more information, visit VonBraunCenter.com or visit the VBC box office.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
That's the price you pay. Leave behind your heart and cast away.
Back here at Bubby's, which is filling up here this Friday morning, and Drew and myself will be filling up here in about an hour and 9 minutes. Just saying. Brandon is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. I hope you're feeling better.
Man, I'm going to tell you, you get a 103.9 fever, you'll have some wild hallucinations.
So you got Nick Saban coaching again, or is that...
Or were you in the car with him to Atlanta?
I'd made my peace with death about 12 hours ago, but I'm feeling pretty good now.
There you go.
Speaking of filling up, I was going to tell Steve, down in Carrollton, the Lazy Donkey.
The Lazy Donkey.
I don't think
I don't know if I'm still banned for life, but we've been back a few times anyway. It's a really great place. The tacos de carnitas and the shrimp fajitas are out of this world. Really good place.
Wow.
Bankhead Highway, number 4, Bankhead Highway in Carrollton.
Okay. So
and they may have margaritas that are served in a gallon bucket. Let you figure that
we are
out.
doing American Pie for post game.
Oh, okay. Well, I figured I'd throw that out there too, and at least give you a little local advice from back in the late 90s, early 2000s when I was down there.
Yeah. I am very familiar with the Carrollton campus. And this is hard to believe that this is the last time that we're going to go, because they are bumping up to D1.
Yeah, man. We've even got one of our listeners chiming in on the Facebook Messenger, and he says, first we had Dr. Love this week hosting the show with Scott Tyson with our epic Valentine's Day show, and now I've been joined by Tokyo Drift, a.k.a. Steve Moulton.
You're welcome.
There you go.
You're welcome.
I mean, Steve could get me to freaking Hansville probably in 30 minutes.
No, I wish. Hey, only if we've got the zone chopper. I'm sorry, chopper.
Well, if I was feeling better, I would show up with the Drew DeArmond fathead, being that he's banned. But I don't know. They may throw me out too.
He probably would.
Get to feeling better, Brandon.
Well, gentlemen, y'all hang in there. I'm gonna hang on, and we'll follow up with y'all Monday. Roll Tide.
Thank you, sir.
256-576-4977. What's that?
I said, have a good weekend.
Well, if he remembers it, I mean, goodness gracious.
Yeah, I mean, he called in the other day and was very sick. I mean, he said that he was, and it's been going around. I mean, prayers to everyone. I mean, my mother and father are under the weather right now, so it's been, Huntsville had to overcome some adversity because Simon Walker was under the weather, even though it didn't look like the way he shot the ball.
Sure didn't.
He was under the weather, against Oak Mountain. So it's been going around. Braden Rivers had it during the season. So just hope everybody's healthy for Tuesday, and we see that Chapter 4 with the best rivalry in the city of Huntsville right now, Huntsville and Grissom on the basketball court.
Just to put a bow on a little bit of baseball talk before we flip the page, your preseason odds to hoist up the trophy in Omaha, the top odds, according to Theisen, goes to Wake Forest at a plus 250. That's followed by LSU at a plus 375. Then the Florida Gators at a plus 400. Virginia at a plus 600, Tennessee at a plus 800. Yes, I'm talking a lot of SEC schools with, and LSU's not as ranked as high as Florida in the preseason poll. But Vegas,
so much great talent, including the first and third picks in the draft.
That's right. That's right.
LSU got a lot to replace, but Jay Johnson's a heck of a coach, and they've got a great program, and certainly spend NIL on baseball.
So, yeah. So there's that as well. And, but SEC baseball cranks up today, and also pitchers and catchers reporting as well earlier this week. And your odds-on favorite to win the World Series, no great shock, that goes to the Los Angeles Dodgers because they have been spending money all over the place. By the way, second on that list is a team in Atlanta. Well, I guess Cobb County. That would be the Atlanta Braves, second best odds to win the World Series. But then the Yankees are in that conversation as well. It's amazing. No love for the Baltimore Orioles after what they did last year and kind of surprised everybody. But I am really intrigued to see Chris Sale in particular, and hopefully he can stay healthy because that is a key cog for the Braves this year.
Yeah, because they were trying to add a true stud to the top of their rotation, and he is that when he's healthy. He helped the Boston Red Sox win, a World Series, and he, for many years for the White Sox, was unbelievable. So if he can recapture that magic, the Braves will be on the short list as one of the best teams in baseball, no question about it.
So Braves baseball, of course, we're your home for Braves baseball right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and everything seems to be lining up because there is a solid core there for the Braves, and what I think is the best third baseman in baseball is now being talked about as the best third baseman in baseball in Austin Riley.
Yeah, I mean, he's really Chipper Jones was right a few years ago saying, look, he will come around as a hitter. I can help him, and he's got really good defensive tools. He's as good a third baseman as there is in baseball, and hopefully his next step will be being MVP of the National League, because I think he's capable of doing that, even though he's got other people on his team that can as well.
We'll be right back.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Free air-chilled boneless chicken breasts and 4 juicy boneless pork chops with your order. omahasteaks.com/VSiN. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The NBA season hits the halfway point of the season, All-Star Weekend, with the All-Star Game itself taking place this Sunday in Indianapolis. Looking at the standings after the first half of the season, Boston's the leader in the East. It's a 6-game advantage over Cleveland, 8.5 over Milwaukee. In the West, Minnesota leads Oak City by 1.5 games. The LA Clippers are 2 games out. The Celtics remain the leader to win the title this year, plus 260. They're also plus 120 to win the Eastern Conference. The plus 215 Clippers, the favorite to win the Western Conference. As far as what division will win the NBA title this season, right now the Atlantic Division, plus 200, the favorite. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
The zone deal has launched, so plan accordingly. It might be sold out by now.
Gone already.
Head over to 977ESPN.com and away you go. You get $50 of Bubbies for just $25. But there is plenty to talk about with our next guest because it is tournament time.
Yeah, we got Ray Sibley in the house.
Yes, we do. Ray Dog.
Ray coming over. Ray Dog saying hello. It's always good to see him. He's having some breakfast here this morning. And speaking of someone that's about to have a shoot-around, they got a huge game later at Wallace State today. I look forward to being there to see it at 1:30. And it will be the Madison Academy Mustangs, the number 6 team in all of 5A basketball, taking on the Fairfield Tigers, the number 1 team in 5A under Maurice Ford, the 2020 state champions, and of course this Mustang program, 5-time state champions in 4 of those under the great Andy Blackston, no doubt about that. So it's a tradition-rich program. It's one that expects to win championships, and Tom Berryman in his second year has got them competing for a title, and we're looking forward to them matching up with Fairfield later today. And he's been kind enough to join us before shoot-around here on Talkin Ball here on this Friday. Coach Berryman, you're with Drew DeArmond and Steve Moulton. Good morning.
Great. Thanks for having me on, guys. Always great to be with you.
Yeah, I mean, and if we're talking to you, you're still playing, and it's the best time of year. And it was great to be over there at Madison Academy Saturday to watch you guys beat a really athletic Carver Birmingham team. It was kind of a game of runs. You guys got off to a really good start. They countered, and it was anybody's game at the start of the fourth quarter, Coach, but you guys really closed it out well.
We did. Our guys played really hard all the way to the end, made a big run kind of early in the fourth quarter to blow it open. I think Carver had cut it to 6. Like you said, it looked like it was anybody's game, but we went from 6 to about 19, I think, in about 3.5 minutes. Our guys did a really good job getting some defensive stops that allowed us to get out in transition and get some easy buckets on fast breaks. And, our guys just continue to fight, continue to stay together. And it was really great to see them find a way to get some stops there and get us the separation to kind of pull away and secure that win.
Coach, tell me a little bit about the growth of your squad. How well do you think this team has kind of gelled together?
I think our group's gelled really well. We're legit 10 deep this year, which is a really good problem to have, I guess, is a great way of saying it as a coach. It's really hard to find minutes for everybody, or maybe as many minutes as they deserve. And I I was very transparent with our team at the beginning of the year that, hey, this is going to be a challenge for us. We're going to have to put aside, personal, desires in terms of minutes and points and all that, because we got 10 guys that can play, that can really help us. And we're going to have to develop depth for this part of the year, for the postseason, just because you never know who's going to be in foul trouble, who could get banged up. And our guys have really bought into that and hung together. We've got about 4 guys averaging double figures. All 10 guys on our team have scored double figures this year in a game. And so I don't think there's many teams in the state that could say that. And, but with that, that means we got a lot of good players that play that don't start, that can start at other places, and guys that just continue to buy into their roles, support one another, and just realize that, hey, some days it's going to be my day to be the leading scorer or be a guy that puts the ball in the hole a lot, but other days somebody else is going to shine, and it's my job to get stops, to get rebounds, and help get them the ball. And so it's been really good to see. I think a big part of our success this year is due to our guys just buying into that and continuing to play for one another.
And, Coach, I know it's big because you always need the guy that can drive the car, but having Campbell back healthy, and I had a chance to see that myself, but having him there to run the squad and push the basketball and control the pace is huge.
Absolutely. Cam just does a great job for our team as a floor general. He's our most vocal guy on the court, especially on the offensive end, directing traffic, getting guys where they need to be. And we really feed off Cam. He knows when to push the ball really quickly when we have opportunities, but he's also doing a great job, especially this point in the season, of learning when to back it out and when we need to execute something or get the ball to a certain guy in a certain spot. He's done a great job with that. And Cam is going to be a big key for us today going into this game. Fairfield is a team that's extremely athletic, really, really quick. They're going to press us when we get off the bus. They're going to press us, after the final buzzer. They get up in you. They try to turn you over. And so, Cam's going to be key for us in terms of handling the ball against that pressure.
Coach, I mean, that's where I was going to go, is that this doesn't feel like this feels like a regional championship matchup and not for the right to play in a regional championship.
I'll just add something, Coach. This looks like, to me, like the Final Four in this pod. I'll just say that. It's
that's
a very
fair, too.
difficult pod to get to Birmingham, Coach.
I'll tell you this. We 5A Northwest has been loaded this year. I think for a good chunk of the year, 7 of the top 10 teams that were ranked in the state were all in our regional that would have gone to Hanceville. And so, there's some really, really good teams. Obviously, Fairfield's number 1. They're an elite defensive team. I think they're forcing 22, 23 turnovers a game. About 13 of those are steals, and so they're doing a great job of turning people over and going and getting easy baskets on the other end. They just have elite quickness on the perimeter. They have some length at the rim and some guys that are really athletic. And so we've got our work cut out for us today. I don't think there's a whole lot of secrets in this game. I think if you brought Coach Ford on here after me and talked to him, he'd probably tell you the same thing. I think, who can make the other team play their style of play. I think in this game, if Fairfield's able to speed us up and turn us over a good bit, it's going to be tough for us. If we can handle that pressure and get the ball where we want to go in the half court, we have a size advantage, and I think we can hurt them around the rim at times. Obviously, going to try to commit to the offensive glass is what we always do, and so but when you do that, then they're really good at going the other way in transition. So there's some give and take there and trying to figure out what's the right balance of how many guys do you send to the glass to rebound versus how many to get back and get them stopped, because they've got, a ton of guards that race it right back at you at 100 miles an hour. And so they're a really good team. I think it really starts with them on the perimeter with a guy named Jody Jones, who's only about 5'9.5", 5'10", but he's averaging about 18 a game, shoots about 40% from the three. Really good shooter, but he's not real tall, but he's extremely athletic out there catching lobs, dunking every game. He's really athletic, and probably the quickest guy we've played all year. We've played some really quick guys, but he's probably right there at the top. And so it's going to be a big challenge for us trying to hold him down today and limit his scoring. I don't think he's ever a guy that's going to be shut out, but we can't let him go off today in this game.
And then, Coach, I know in the last game your depth really helped you because Lawson Pippins, who's one of your 2 seniors, along with Cam, got in foul trouble, had to spend some time on the bench, but you've got a young sophomore named Michael Stanford who I thought played really well from the tip. And you guys, as you said, it gives you a size advantage against a lot of teams you play, and you guys have really good length at a lot of positions as well. But I thought Stanford played really well, and he's a sophomore, but he certainly plays like his mentality is an older guy.
Absolutely. Mike's played a lot of ball for us. He started basically every game last year as a freshman, and as Mike actually should be a freshman. He's a year ahead of where he should be in school, and so he's only 15 years old, but he's a guy that's, a threat to be a double-double every time he walks out on the court. He shoots over 70% from the field, just has great touch around the rim, is a great finisher. He's still one of those guys. I think people around here know about him, but in the state, just with him being a sophomore, I don't think people all through the state know him yet. But I think he's one of those guys that is really going to come onto the scene here. Hopefully, if we make a run here this year, but definitely next year as a junior, he's a guy that has a lot of great basketball ahead of him. But he's really developed this year. Mike last year was a great rebounder, a great defender, and a decent finisher around the rim when other guys created and could drop it off to him. But he's really taken his game to the next level and become a real back-to-the-basket threat, and also a guy that we can get the ball to in the high post a little bit and let him drive it, when he square up and face the rim. And so he's really worked hard this offseason to improve his game, and I think the sky's the limit for him by the time he gets out of here if he keeps working.
Talking to Coach Tom Berryman right now on Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And, Coach, the transition of going back into high school basketball from the college side. Tell me a little bit about that from your perspective of coming from UNA back into Madison Academy.
Well, if you look at it right now, there's a lot of college coaches leaving the college game on, football and basketball, just with everything going on. And, a lot of people ask me, hey, I'm sure you were, just looking to get out. And that really wasn't the case. I was working in Florence. That was my hometown. I was working for Tony Pujols, who's one of my mentors. We had a great relationship. We had a really strong coaching staff that I was really close with, had some great players at UNA, and was really enjoying it there. And it wasn't looking to get out of anything. It was just looking to get into a great situation here at Madison Academy. Once I was contacted about the job and started really doing some real digging on it, I just thought it was a chance to really build something special. Obviously, you guys know the history, the rich history we have here of this program with so many state championships and all the work that so many coaches have done. But, most recently, Coach Blackston just did such a great job here, going to 11 Final Fours and winning 5 state championships himself. But just looking at it, I just thought it was a chance to come back and just, I thought it was a major challenge, but one that was definitely worth having to try to get back in over here and try to get the program back where it had been for so long. And so I just think there's great people here. We have great administration. We have great support and great kids. And so it makes it fun to come to work every day to work with these guys. They're a really fun group to coach and a fun group to be around day in and day out. And so for me, it wasn't as much about getting out of college. It was just trying to get into a great situation here at Madison Academy.
Well, and I got to say, it makes me feel old a little bit because I've known his father since he played for Jack Doss, but I was very proud to see how well Khalil Green played for you in the last game. 31 points.
Really?
I mean, he's only a junior. He's got a bright future, but we talked about his defensive prowess when we had you on the last time, Coach, but, man, he filled up the stat sheet. And this time of year, you have to have performances from your dudes in order to advance. And what a performance against Carver, and you're going to need some more great stuff from him to later today at 1:30.
But yeah, Khalil really stepped up against Carver. He's a guy that's been a great finisher at the rim for us all year and a really good defender. One of the top defenders, I think, in all of probably North Alabama. But yeah, like you said, I mean, he had 31 points, 7 rebounds, hit 3 threes in the game, and really forced the defense to have to come out and play him out further maybe than sometimes they do. And with elite quickness, he was able to go by. He's a guy that can finish above the rim. And so, in games like this, in the Carver game that we just had, he was great, but also in a game like we have today against a team like Fairfield that's going to get up and pressure you. They're going to try to speed you up and turn you over. You have to have a couple of guys that can go by that. They have to attack that pressure and go by and collapse the defense. You can't just allow them to get up in you and put you on your heels and not attack them back. And so Khalil's a guy that, if they're going to go pick him up at half court and try to guard him close, that's going to be a really tough challenge because he has elite quickness. He can go get into the paint easily, and with his size and athleticism, he's a good finisher. And so, but he also can make the right read. So, if, the defense has to help up, he's going to find the open man. And so, I thought the Carver game you guys mentioned, that was probably Khalil's best game of the year offensively. I mean, he did a little bit of everything in that one and really put us on his back. Down the stretch, and just had a great offensive performance. I was really happy for him. He's worked really hard all year, and just to see the fruits of that labor against Carver was really fun to see.
All right, Coach, I hate to put you on the spot, but I'm in the business of putting coaches on spots. So I'm going to put you on the spot right here, Coach. So give me who has the better jump shot. Is it Coach Mincher or is it Coach Godsey?
Oh, man. Well, I thankfully don't think I've actually ever seen either one of those, but if you put it on me, since Coach Mincher is my boss, we're definitely going to go with Mark Mincher. That I think he could get Coach Godsey in a maybe a tight. It might be tight, but I'd go Coach Mincher by a hair in a free throw contest.
Well, I had Coach Mincher. He taught me computer science, so I'd have to go with him too. So, but Coach, before you go, you don't want to give away the entire game plan. But what's going to be the key in getting a win over the probably as good a team as you played all year in Fairfield?
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, a tremendous challenge. These guys are, they've only lost 2 games all year. I think they've won 17 in a row coming into today. They haven't lost since December the 14th. So going to be a big challenge. I think it really just comes down to can we be strong with the ball, value the ball. As good as they are defensively, it's not a game where you're going to come out of it and only have 4 or 5 turnovers. It's not going to be one of those games. But can we live in that 12 to 14 range? If you have 6 to 7 turnovers a half against a team like this, I think we have a good chance to be in the game. If they turn you over 10 or 12 times in a half, each half, it's probably going to be a long bus ride home. And I think Coach Ford will probably tell you the same thing. They've been so good at turning people over. They just get so many easy baskets off of it. And so it's going to be a major challenge for us, handling that pressure, being strong with the ball, making sure that we don't get into the trap zones. There's certain areas of the court, especially right across half court, that they're just elite at getting you boxed in and getting you trapped and rotating out of it. And so we got to be smart in those situations and try to limit those. But I think if we can value the ball, be strong with the ball, and hopefully attack some of that pressure early and get some easy baskets off of it, it might back them up just a little bit and maybe allow us to have just a little bit more space to run our stuff. So I think it really comes down on the offensive end for us. Can we value the ball? And on the defensive end, can we get back and keep them out of transition as much as possible? They're just elite in fast break opportunities, and we have to try to limit those as much as possible.
Well, just make sure J.C. Schulman is open from about 80 foot, so that way you can drain more jumpers from 80 feet for you, Coach.
J.C. Schulman has never met a jumper he didn't like, and hopefully we can get him some clean. Hopefully we can get him a few clean looks today, because he can really shoot it. He's a guy that can change the game for us in a moment. If he gets a couple of looks, he shot it really well for us all year, and hopefully we can get him some clean looks today. But J.C. is definitely. If he's got a good look, it's going up, and he's definitely not one to pass him up.
And hey, Coach Berryman, he covers every angle. You got an A cuff on the team, the nephew, and right. You've got Schulman on the team, and then he's got the greatest player in Madison Academy history on his coaching staff, and Josh Langford and Calvin Walker. I feel old, but this is a great organization. Good luck to you, Coach. Thank you for taking some time. Have a great shoot around, and I'll see you later this afternoon. Hopefully, a big Mustang win can beat the #1 team in 5A. But we really appreciate the time this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, guys, for having me on, and hopefully we can be back on talking some ball with you soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Once again, and hopefully getting ready for the Final Four. We'll see.
There you go.
Yep.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
That's Coach Tom Berryman from Madison Academy as you ain't lying. I mean, I bumped it up to a regional. I think you may be right. I think this is Birmingham worthy.
Yeah, it's Birmingham worthy. I mean, Ramsey is really, really good. I mean, they pushed Huntsville. Huntsville went over to Ramsey, and Denton Johnson's a Scottsboro native, but he's been to multiple Final Fours, nearly won state titles, and has had a really, really, really consistent program, and they're good. They're going to take on Russellville, who just honored Luther Tiggs this year, and and had Luther Tiggs Day basically, and Luther was the quarterback of their only state championship team in 1982. So, again, it's there's a lot of great basketball teams over in the 5A classification in the Northwest Regional. Man, all 4 of them are really, really good, and should have 2 quality matchups. The 10:30 game that I'll be on the way to see some of will be Ramsey and Russellville, and then, as we said, Madison Academy taking the floor against Maurice Ford and the Fairfield Tigers at 1:30.
1:30 indeed. Let's go ahead and take our first time out as we're live here at Bubby's, where it is bustling here at Bubby's. So come on by for some breakfast as well. 256-576. We've got time to squeeze in a call or two on the other side before we talk some Charger hoops.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Had one minor accident reported, Highway 67 South in Summerville. That is in Morgan County. It's a no injury, so it should clear pretty quick. Got problems at Marshall Space Flight Center, some sort of a sewage line problem, so they've closed down the center for the day. They're encouraging telework. No hose, no mask. You can ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Cheeseburger Bobby's has a great new way to feed the family with 2 $30 family packs. The first is the Tenders Family Meal. 20 delicious chicken tenders, fries, and a gallon of tea. The second is 4 cheeseburgers, fries, and a gallon of tea. Your choice, just $30 each. These specials are good for carryout and online orders only. Log on to cheeseburgerbobbies.com to order. And don't forget frozen custard for dessert. Cheeseburger Bobbies, 2785 Carl T. Jones Drive, Huntsville, and at cheeseburgerbobbies.com.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopé. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Appropriate. Game day heading down to the Plains, as you'll hear that or watch that actually tomorrow morning, ESPN television, for those of you that have the app or those of you that are dinosaurs like myself and still have the satellite dish right in front. I'm still that guy who flips around, and it's amazing. You know what? These conglomerates of these organizations trying to come together to form, I don't know, like a cable TV version of what we've had in the past. So we're going to the past to go to the future. Anyway, it should be a lot of fun there at Neville with Kentucky taking on the Auburn Tigers. And to help break it down, Jeff from the Borough.
This is the big one, Jeff. Can they break the streak? Can someone win at Auburn? Because it doesn't look like it.
If anybody can do it, I say Kentucky can if they can. Score. They can get healthy. And
if they get healthy, they'll be dangerous.
Yeah. Like anywhere else, Auburn's more special than Duke or anywhere else. You just got to go.
Now, let me ask you a question, Jeff. When do you think when do you think they'll have all their pieces back? Are they looking at maybe the last week of the regular season? When, they got most of them. You keep up with it closer than I as far as the injury report.
They got most of them back now. I mean, they got most of them.
They don't have DJ and they don't have the West Virginia transfer.
Mitchell hurt his shoulder, so he might not play. I mean, Wagner, I know about Wagner. Mitchell hurt his shoulder kind of bad. He might not play, or he might come back. So I don't really know. I haven't watched too much this week. I mean, I didn't watch the Ole Miss game. I listened to it on the radio, coming back home, I had to work. So, but they're okay. I mean, everybody wants to get rid of Calipari. That ain't gonna happen. If Barnhart ever did that, he better sell his house and sell his car, because he'll be out of state real bad if he ever does something like that. And he knows it, so he's not gonna do anything. So he's a dean of SEC ADs, and we also have the dean of men's basketball and football, as you all know. So we're the dean of everything now, so in the SEC. So we have 3 great leaders, and we're going to continue to have that. And, like Calipari said, get on me, don't get on the kids. So it's just simple.
So I guess we need to kiss the ring there for Stoops. So what kind of ring does Stoops have? What is that, a bowl ring that we need to kiss?
I guess. I mean, what does Alabama have? A national third place ring for losing to Michigan? Is that what y'all have? So
at least they've made the playoff, Jeff.
I believe they had an SEC championship.
They may finally have a chance now, Jeff, though. There's 12 teams.
What's he going to do today?
Then they might lose by 35 in the first round.
Well, whatever. When's Bama going to make a Final Four? When are y'all going to build that arena, basketball arena? That's 5,000 feet practice box. They're going to build that today. Y'all might
the last time Kentucky was in that arena, they lost by 40.
Y'all might get it built. And why did they change Auburn Arena to Neville Arena? Is that for Aaron Neville, the singer? Did he pop the money in?
I know this, that Kentucky's 1-5 in that arena.
I don't give a shit what they are. They're still better than
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. He can't handle himself. Get him out of here. Thank you.
All right.
See you, Jeff. Have a nice trip when you get your ass beat, because you're getting it beat tomorrow. Again. Have a good weekend, Turd.
So my goal was to rile up Jeff, but not to that point.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't think we were going to get him riled up like that. We were just poking him a little bit.
I'll take a little bit of responsibility on that one, even though I cranked the car, he hit the gas pedal. So
yeah, I mean, he comes in poking, we poke back, but you don't have to curse like that. I mean, come on, Jeff. Don't be a turd. But I think everybody knows that you are. You're the most hated person on our show.
So if you're trying to get a zone deal from Bubby's, that's there's two. There's two available. So
I don't know though. I checked a second ago and it was saying all processing unless a couple people
there's two available.
Decided not to follow through.
So the ones that were processed, there's two available left for Bubby's. You get $50 worth for just $25. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. As I mentioned, it's a big game tomorrow for the UAH Chargers, a road game at West Georgia, top 10 team in the Gulf South Conference.
A team that's about to leave the Gulf South Conference. This is their final year, is it not?
It is.
In the league.
So we will talk some Charger hoops on the other side with head coach John Schulman. As we're live here at Bubby's, still no sight of Coach Jack Doss at the moment, but, that can change minute to minute here at Bubby's.
It's like if you were living in Mayberry and it's between 10 and 11 o'clock. If you want to find Coach Doss, I've been here enough times, you will definitely get a chance to sit down with him and talk some hoops.
Well, I know we're all looking forward to next Tuesday afternoon that you'll be able to hear right here on 97.7 The Zone. And that is Huntsville taking on Grissom. So even if you hear an announcer call it the Huntsville Tigers, he's right, because you've got the Huntsville Crimson Panthers and the Grissom Tigers squaring off for the fourth time for the right to go to Birmingham. But you won't hear that terminology Tuesday afternoon on our broadcast.
No, you call that terminology the plumber. I'll credit that to Coach Ronnie Stapler.
Well,
it was said on this show.
Well, let's go ahead and take a timeout. Coach Schulman is set to join us on the other side. See whether or not his son JC is continually practicing those 80-footers that he drained earlier in the year.
At the end of the third quarter.
For Madison Academy. All right, we'll be right back. Friday morning edition of Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 50 Fort Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to build into the Tennessee Valley. The best chance for that probably going to come Friday evening and then into the overnight through the first half of the day on Saturday. Temperatures still going to be warm on Friday afternoon. Highs climbing into the mid-60s. We are going to be cold Friday night, early Saturday morning. We're dropping down into the low and mid-30s. It is going to be a chilly Saturday afternoon across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures only climbing into the lower 40s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's looking like we're going to wrap it up in good shape this morning. Haven't picked up anything new accident-wise. They should be about clear on that one in Summerville on Highway 67 South. That one reported as a no injury. And I haven't heard an update on that structure fire on Jordan Lane near Maston Lake. Could still have a northbound problem there. Expert Heart Care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the Heart Doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
Some people just know bundling with Allstate means big savings. Just like they know the right ingredient means big flavor. They know honey on pizza is where it's at. And olive oil on ice cream is the cherry on top. And they know when you bundle home and auto with Allstate, you can save up to 25%.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
Back here with you on a Friday morning. It's Talkin Ball live from Bubby's. The deal has sold out. So just come on by and enjoy some breakfast with us here this morning live from Bubby's Diner, along with Drew DeArmond, Steve Moulton here with you. And it's a big day of basketball starting tomorrow morning with the Crimson Tide Sports Network as an 11 a.m. tip. 10 a.m. for the pregame as Bama's taking on Texas A&M. And that afternoon, 3 o'clock Central Time tip, UAH Charger basketball.
Yeah, you know, of course, his son, J.C. Shulman's taking on the number one team in the state of Alabama in 5A for the Fairfield Tigers at 1:30 at Wallace State. And then tomorrow, as Steve Moulton said, the UAH Chargers traveling to West Georgia. They've already beaten West Georgia 93-82 in overtime at the end of December, trying to sweep them, and they're taking a shot at the top team in the Gulf South Conference, trying to defend their championship, and that is John Shulman and the UAH Chargers. And this conversation is always brought to us by our great sponsor, SportsMed Surgery and Spine Center, and we love our weekly chats with John Shulman. Coach, good morning.
Morning. Either one of y'all getting a fried bologna there at Bubby's?
I will get a fried bologna biscuit, Coach. You read my mind.
Wow.
Do that in honor of me because it's really good there. It's very good.
Yes, I will.
Give it 2 thumbs up.
I would give it 3. I don't have 3 thumbs, though, even though I am banned from your arena. But, hey.
Yeah, you may be banned from even talking to me anymore. Come on, man. We've had a good week of prep. We had, as Steve knows, sometimes in coaching, and we talk about, you got to win, you got to win, you got to win, you got to win. Sometimes you have really special moments in your season, and Steve was with us last Friday, and Steve, pretty special day for us, wasn't it?
It was. Of just,
well, just to fight through what we fought through after Thursday night, to travel down to Jackson, to feeling sorry for yourself, and having a come to Jesus meeting, and all of a sudden, then you got to go to practice, and you got to win the day. You got to win the day when nobody wants to even live in that day, and you have to win the day, and it teaches kids so much about life, and that's what we're supposed to be doing anyway. And we won the day on Friday, and beat a team Saturday that had just beaten West Alabama by 22 at their place, and got back in the swing of things, and really led start to finish at a place that we hadn't had a whole lot of success. So really proud of our team, and really a special day that we had last Saturday in Clinton, Mississippi.
Just for reference sake, I'd put a bow on it, if you will. I mean, that's a win first time since January of 2019, and you also did it without one of your starters who suffered a concussion at Delta State, and yet another player who didn't even make the trip.
Right.
So yeah. I mean, it's pretty. It was a remarkable day in many ways for you, Coach.
Well, when you see kids step up, and we coach different. I don't just hold the first five accountable. I hold everybody in our program accountable, and that's just how I've done it, and how we coach, and how we teach. And so Whitey stepping in, Trey Hamilton. I don't know him as Trey. I know him as Whitey. Whitey stepping in and playing 12 minutes and making a big three, and it really kind of doesn't surprise me because you got great kids. You got great kids who care. And you got great kids who care about the program. That's why we continue to do what we're doing. And Dane, Austin didn't make the trip, and Dane Harding's over there in sweats. And we're asking an awful lot of our kids, and we really, from the first possession on, we were locked in, and we had an edge to us, and we weren't going to be denied. And now we're back in the thick of things, and we've had a week to prepare for West Georgia. They got beat at West Al on Wednesday. So it's been a good week of preparation, and now we're ready to roll. And we've got film this morning and practice this morning, so I can sneak down to Hansville to watch the third Schulman boy.
Well, and we're really looking forward to that game, but we're looking forward to this game with West Georgia. And I got to tell you, Coach, when you're short one of your post guys, and Dane Harding does a lot for you. He's a versatile player, but Daniel Saylor really stepped up, though. His efficiency on offense, I know, was really good. And as you've said, when he's locked in and when he's right, he's one of the best post players in the Gulf South Conference.
He may be one of the better players in this league. And we kind of don't even look at him like that. He's just a big, goofy, he's Saylor. All right? I mean, he's a 35 on his ACT. He's shooting down missiles in the summer at Lockheed Martin. And you almost don't look at him as being a good player because he's Saylor. And, he played in the band in high school. He played soccer in high school. He's just a big goofball of a kid. And all of a sudden you look out there and he's averaging double figures, and you're going, why aren't we playing him more? What are we doing here? And so with him, and he's such a great kid, and he's a factor. He's nobody else in the league has something like him, and people are starting to double him a little bit now, which opens up, if he'll handle the doubles in the right way. It's really hard to double against us because we got so many guys that can shoot it, and that's where we were good a couple years ago with CJ and Chaney. It was impossible to double them, and you had to pick your poison, and now you're getting to that same point with Saylor.
Well, let's dive into a little bit of Luke Burnett, because I'm sure after what he did last year, there was a bigger bullseye on him, but he is still accomplishing in big ways what it feels like another year of Luke, but it's a different way that he's getting there this year, Coach.
Well, I mean, you Luke is quiet, like the quiet assassin, and when you go from third or fourth on that scouting report to number one on that scouting report, it's uncomfortable, and you got to figure out ways that you still got to be productive. And Luke's never going to be this unbelievable defender and unbelievable rebounder, but he can score the ball, and he knows how to score the ball. And if you're a 3-point shooter, it's kind of like passing the football if you're a passing team in football, the first thing you got to establish is running the football to be able to pass the football. Luke wants to keep on. If coach to get open, I'm not open from 23. I got to get open from 25, and then I'm not open at 25. I got to get open at 27, and now all of a sudden Luke's taking contested 32-footers. That's probably not the answer that we're looking for. So he's got to be a better cutter, and if he can score the ball inside on a drive or on a cut, that will help him get open at 23 feet instead of trying to go the other way and just working out first. You got to work in first to maybe get open out, and that's what he's been better at lately. But just be honest, everybody else has to contribute to his success, and our offense has to contribute to his success. But Saylor scoring that ball in there helps Luke, and getting an offensive rebound, just to be honest, getting an offensive rebound helps Luke. And Luke's got to help Luke by getting his tail end down the floor and trying to score in the first 5 seconds of the shot clock, because he can get a better look there than he can against the set D. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but, I'm like furious at Luke because he's missed a couple free throws, and I looked at his percentage. He's shooting 80% from the foul line. So, I'm not the easiest human to be around.
Well, Coach, I got to say this. You always tell us about journeys, and you kind of mentioned it at the start of the conversation with teams and how teams evolve and get better. I know you've been watching a ton of film preparing for this very talented West Georgia team. You beat them in overtime 93-82 on December the 30th. How have they evolved since you last played them about a month and a half ago?
Well, they're just tough. They're tough. Just be honest, in February and in basketball period, the team that makes the least amount of mistakes has a chance to win. This is not brain surgery here, what we're doing, Drew. That's why you could be a great basketball coach, you and Steve both, because it's not brain surgery. Don't make mistakes. Stop making mistakes. And West Georgia does it. Allow them to get to one shot, and West Georgia is really good on the glass. And they just don't make a whole lot of mistakes. And the teams that don't make mistakes usually, just be honest. We watched Buckhorn yesterday. How did Buckhorn make their comeback? Well, Caleb Holt lived at the foul line. Well, keep him off the foul line then. Well, it's a lot easier said than done, but it's what we are trying to do and what West Georgia is trying to do, and we've had some wars with West Georgia, is that the teams that make the least amount of mistakes, whether it be fouling or whether it be turn the ball over, or whether it be giving up offensive boards, the ones that do have success. And if you can avoid, you don't have to be Superman out here. You just got to, we make fun. They make fun of me. You don't have to be Superman. Be solid man. Just be a solid man. Be that superhero. Just be a solid man. Just don't get beat on the ball. You box your man out. Don't let your man get the ball. You don't have to be great. It's not a game of unbelievable talent out here. It's a team that does the right things the majority of the time.
So, Coach, with the way this schedule is shaping up to be on the road more than we're at home, boy, I can't think of a better way for a team to prep up and get ready for March than playing all these road games down the stretch.
Well, the schedule's been pretty good to us the last couple of years. I will say that. We've finished up at home the majority of those years.
Yep.
This year it's a little different, but our team's a little different. Have we ever won since I've been at UAH at AUM? No, but we did this year. Have we ever won at Mississippi College while I've been here? No, but we did this year.
That's right.
Our team's a little different. We were, something like 50-something and 4 at home going into this year. Well, I think we've lost 4 home games or at home. It's like, our team's a little different this year, and they do have a lot of pressure on them. So maybe being on the road is less pressure, and being on the road, if you're not band as a team and you're not together as a team, you got no prayer to win on the road. No shot. And so it really, that through that journey, last Friday and last Saturday will be 2 days. Look, I've done this for a long time. Last Saturday's win was as special as that I may have ever had. To have a team, you lose 2 games in a row at UAH. That equals like 14. You lose 14 games in a row somewhere else. It's like you're not allowed to lose 2 games in a row. So Friday was a tough day, and the preparation for Saturday, and to see those kids respond, man, you talk about proud of themselves. There's nothing more satisfying as a coach than to see your team proud of themselves and proud of what they accomplished, because that's what we're doing. We're just a jockey on a horse. We're just trying to steer them in the right direction and trying to give them the right stuff so that they can have success. Not me or not our assistant coaches. It ain't about me. It ain't about our coaches. It's about those kids. And to see those kids fight through, because there may be a time in their life, just a possibility, that something goes wrong at work, and something goes wrong with their family, and they're going to have to fight through. And maybe they can remember that fun time down in Jackson, Mississippi, that they were able to fight through and find some success. And, at the end of the day, that's what this thing's all about. I for many years, I thought it was about winning and losing until I got a little older, and then I figured it out.
Well, no doubt, Coach. And speaking of winning, what must the Chargers do to get that W on the road, which would be so huge for your program and for your chances to win the Gulf South Conference and to sweep a team of the caliber of a West Georgia? Well,
first of all, you better be tough. I mean, you better be tough on the road. They'll have a good crowd. They're gearing up for this game, but we're gearing up for this game. There's nothing better than winning on the road, just to be honest. We better be tough. We better be mentally tough, physically tough, and we just better do what we do. And we have non-negotiables. We've talked about we've got non-negotiables defensively when we're playing man, and we got non-negotiables defensively when we're playing zone. This don't have anything to do with West Georgia. We just have to be us, and we're ready to be us. And I think we're, for the first time, I think it actually started before even Delta State. We're very comfortable in our own skin. So you're going to have to make a bunch of shots to beat us. And if you make a bunch of shots, then congratulations. We'll pat you on the butt and say, well done. But it is now February, and those legs start going in February, and you get a little tighter in February. And things change. February and March basketball is not the same as December basketball. So we're going to have to show some toughness, do what we do, and, we're going to play as one on the road, man. I'm just telling you, there's nothing better than being on the road in a tough environment and trying to find a way to win. There's nothing that brings your team together more than that.
Coach, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Safe travels today.
I'll see you later today.
Are you going to be more nervous today or tomorrow?
There's something about watching your kid play that you do get a little nervous. Definitely more nervous today. He's excited, and we're excited for MA, and they're excited as a team to. This is a privilege, man. It's a privilege to be playing meaningful games. I know there's pressure to it, but it's a privilege to be in pressure-filled games, and so we're excited for him, and we'll be sitting up here cheering, and then we'll sit up here tomorrow and hopefully have an opportunity to cheer again tomorrow.
Well, we certainly hope so. And we wish the Mustangs great luck. We'll be there to see that game later at 1:30 at Wallace State, and J.T. Shulman and the Mustangs. Already talked to Coach Tom Berryman. And, of course, we're going to be rooting the Chargers along hard as Steve Moulton will be on the call. Is Scott Tyson going to be with you?
He has got wrestling.
Ryan Solo,
yeah.
So Scott will be busy with the wrestling.
We're going old school tomorrow.
We're going
just
old school tomorrow,
yeah.
And so Steve Moulton, and we'll hopefully bring him
anybody at halftime?
No, well, unless you want to come over and give me a visit, I'm good with that, Coach.
I'll let Max do it. Just make sure Drew's not there. Everything's fine if Drew stays in Huntsville. Got it?
I will be in Tuscaloosa.
Good.
Thank you, Coach.
As always, appreciate what y'all do. Take care.
And we appreciate Sports Med Surgery and Spine Center for bringing us our weekly conversation, Steve, with Coach Johnson.
They are the official training providers for UAH Athletics, Sports Med Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. Let's go ahead and take our final time out. Final call for phone calls. Tomorrow's headlines today as well. maybe dive into a little bit more of the Auburn-Kentucky matchup as well that is going to tip it up as we wrap it up here on a Friday. It's Talkin Ball from Bubby's on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Looks like we're going to wind things up in good shape this morning. Traffic winding down nicely. Looks like most everybody's going to be in close to on time. We don't have anything on the board new accident-wise. We did have a structure fire on Jordan Lane near Maston Lake. That one was affecting some northbound traffic. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
March Madness begins in the Rocket City as the Conference USA Men's and Women's Basketball Championships come to the Von Braun Center March 12th through the 16th as 9 teams look to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Lock in your seat for all the tournament action now and get the best seats available to be right on top of the action. And thanks to our friends at Dave & Buster's and Main Event, we have Power Passes available and 4-pack single session tickets available now that include $60 in savings. For more information, visit VonBraunCenter.com or visit the VBC box office. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. What's better than 2 end-zone sports bars? 3 end-zone sports bars. And we have you covered with our original location on University across from Red Lobster, in Jones Valley on Cecil Ashburn near Carl T. Jones, and our newest location in the Midtown District on McMurtry Drive opposite the Target Plaza. All locations feature the NFL Sunday Ticket, Tuesday half-price burgers, and Wednesday $1 jumbo wings all day long. You're never far from the end zone. End Zone Sports Bar.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Here's tomorrow's headlines today. We have yet to break this down, but I have no doubt Sunday night what Drew DeArmond will be locked into. That is the NBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis. And actually, So
the only way I would watch that game or even sit in the arena is if I was sitting next to Larry Bird. Then I would be happy.
I actually like the broadcast crew that is slated for the Saturday night more than the All-Star game itself. The All-Star Saturday night has Kevin Harlan, Reggie Miller, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Shaquille O'Neal. I'm all in. I am all in. The announcers for the All-Star game is Brian Anderson, Reggie Miller, and Candace Parker. So, I mean, but again, I just have more familiarity, especially with Harlan Miller.
They ought to just put Reg with Cheryl, man, and just let them talk.
That would be fantastic. That would be great.
Because they're both Hall of Famers. I mean, there's probably not a better combination of brother and sister basketball players in history.
Yeah. Halftime show, by the way, is Jennifer Hudson there for the NBA All-Star game, which I know Drew DeArmond will be front and center for.
I haven't watched it in 20-plus years.
I did want to sneak in a little portal news because Michigan defensive back, is it Keon Sabb or Sabe, S-A-B-B? He has entered the transfer portal. Sabb spent 2 seasons with the program, but he is now in the transfer portal and is probably the biggest name to enter said portal. He was the number 87 overall recruit in the 2022 cycle, but this goes into the transfer portal itself as of January the 9th. So this does not add to all these schools that have been open, be it Bama or Washington or Boston College or UCLA. 2,237 FBS players have entered the transfer portal as of January the 9th, Drew.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's just it's reality. Until they regulate the dates and until they get NIL under control, the transfer portal is going to be a huge issue. And it'll be crazy, go nuts at the end of spring practices in mid-April when it opens up again for everybody. So, and we've continued to see standing head coaches leave. Sean Elliott's the latest. He left Georgia State to go back to South Carolina and be tight ends coach because I'm sure he got tired of losing his best players, such as his wide receiver one ended up at Auburn. So, I mean, but sometimes you have to embrace it like Trent Dilfer. In other words, develop players, help them move up to Power 5, but then recruit well enough where you got replacements. So, again, it's a situation where it's such a juggling act right now in collegiate athletics and college coaching, and that's why so many are leaving the game, and that's why it's going to be very, very important to get this under control within the next couple of years.
We're here at Bubby's, but I do have some big breaking news for you, Drew DeArmond.
Tacos will be back on the dessert menu. Taco Bell, they're bringing back those frozen taco treats. Remember how upset everyone was when they discontinued the Choco Taco 2 years ago?
Taco. Bringing it back.
I've never had one.
Me either.
I'm
a cinnamon twist guy. I do like their freezes, though.
That'll wrap us up here from Bubby's Diner as it is filling up here, and we're about to fill up ourselves.
Go Mustangs and go Chargers, go.
All righty. We'll talk to you later on.
The best place to get 50s diner-style homemade delectables is Bubby's Diner. Located at 8412 Whitesburg Drive Southeast, try their all-new expanded breakfast menu with homemade waffles, omelets, and shrimp and grits. With 3 generations of experience,